on the news, or it could just be some like rumors.
Rumors, yes, right. Okay. Is it just that people get their facts wrong unintentionally, or is there something more dangerous about fake news?
Well, some people might have actually spread the rumor on purpose.
That's fake news, really. Fake news is not just when people get the facts wrong. Fake news is when they have the facts right, but they want to deceive other people. They want other people to believe lies. So that is fake news, when the intention is to deceive people. What does it mean to deceive somebody? D-E-C-E-I-V-E, deceive. I'll check what it says in neighbor. Deceive. Deceive. Deceive is sokida, gimanhada. Sokida, to deceive. What does it mean in English? To deceive somebody.
To cheat on people?
Cheat people, yes, that's another good word. To cheat people. It's to try to give them an idea which is not accurate, usually for some selfish reason. Sometimes people do it because they want to get money out of other people, or they want to get something else out of other people, so they deceive them. Okay. Sometimes, this is very, very common on the internet. I get emails sometimes. People say they are my bank, and they want me to. There's some problem with my bank accounts, and I must type in my details, and they will fix my account for me. Well, that's something deceptive. They are deceiving me. They're trying to pretend that they are the bank, but they are not the bank. So you have to be careful of deception. Okay, so that's false. That is fake news. So I'm going to read to you a definition of fake news. I want you to tell me if you agree with it. It says, fake news is the deliberate spread of misinformation, sensationalist, dishonest, or outright fabricated headlines are often used to increase readership. Shall I read it one more time? Fake news is the deliberate spread of misinformation. What is deliberate? Deliberate. I'll type it for you here. Deliberate. 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 Let's see if I can find it in Naver. Deliberate. Deliberate is go-ri-ri. Ri-do-jogin. It's planned. It is intentional. It's not accidental. It's not accidental. It is the idea, the plan of somebody. Right. So it's the planned spread of misinformation. What do you think is misinformation? Misinformation.
It's like an information that is wrong, or
yeah, it's information that is false. So there's a lot of that today, especially with social media, because people do not check their facts carefully. 2 days ago, a friend of mine sent me a message on WhatsApp, and he said that a local supermarket was giving vouchers, 1,500 rands to the first 500 people who contacted them. But you must go to this website. So I went to the website, and I thought, oh, there's something wrong here, something wrong here. And I did a Google search, and I found that this was what we call a scam. A scam. What is a scam? A scam. Shinyong sagi. Scam. Shin-yong Sagi, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Sagi Kun is a scam artist, Sagi Kun. And there are lots of scam artists in this world. Sad to say, there are lots of scam artists. Are there scam artists in Korea?
Yeah. Well, there was this like a big investigation on this one specific like cheaters or scam artists.
Yes,
it was
scam
because they pull you, and then they say, for example, like my grandma got one, and then they said, we have your son kidnapped, and then we're going to cut his hands and toes off if you don't give us money. And then they got someone that sounded like him, and then they were screaming, "Save me," or something like that.
Oh, and your grandma had that.
Yeah. So
Oh,
they
that's terrible.
were
So what did she do?
She hanged up definitely like right away, and then she called my uncle, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And he said, "It's fine."
So it was just a scam. That is wicked. Very, 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 very bad. Wicked. Wicked, eh? That people would try to cheat an old lady like that. That's really cruel. Very cruel. Okay. So do you agree with the above definition? Sensationalist, I'll type it for you. Fake news is the deliberate spread of misinformation. Okay. And then sensationalist, dishonest, or outright fabricated headlines are often used to increase readership. Okay, can you read it back to me, please?
Fake news is the deliberate spread of misinformation. Sensationalist, dishonest, or outright fabricated headlines are often used to increase readerships.
Good. What is sensationalist headlines? Sensationalist headlines. Sensationalist is, let me see if I can find it here in sensationalist. Here we go. You can decide which one it is. I'm sending you the definition from this is from Neva Sojon. I don't know which one it is. I don't know. Oh no, this is not right. That's a noun. Jamshiman, you want an adjective. You want an adjective. That's not correct. I want to look for sensationalist. That's not good. Sensationalist. I want an adjective. That is not an adjective. Here we go. Okay, these are sensationalist headlines. Here we go. I'm going to send this to you now, and then you can explain it to me. Yeah. All right. Okay, can you read the Korean and then just explain it to me in English? Oh, wait a moment, I didn't send it to you. Wait, I'll send it again now. Oh, I'm sorry, today I'm not working very well. I'll send it to you now. Okay, can you read that? 선정주의적인 headline, 기사 제목. So what is a sensationalist headline?
Well, it's like, I'm actually guessing the definition, but I guess it means they're very selective of the headlines, and then they select the headlines for popularity.
For popularity, it's more than selection. I think sometimes they exaggerate. They exaggerate something and make it maybe something that is going to make people react with fear, perhaps. They are playing on people's fears or people's greed, all those bad emotions in humans. They're working on those emotions with their headlines. It's like, you know, a puppet master plays with puppets. Do you know puppets? Puppets are like dolls that are on strings. And sometimes the newspaper people do this with their newspaper reporting. They try to play with our emotions like we are puppets. Like we are puppets. All right. To increase readership. What does it mean to increase readership?
They're trying to increase the amount of people that's reading their newspapers.
Yes. So they maybe something very simple happens, but they exaggerate it so that people will buy their newspaper or their magazine and read it, although it really isn't worth paying any attention to. Okay, so where do you most often find fake news? Where would you find it?
Well, if you actually count like the unbroad fake news, is definitely schools.
In schools, okay.
Because I'm not sure about any other countries' schools, but in Korea, they are especially offensive than any other children in other worlds.
Really?
So, yeah. If you talk to, like, for example, there are like groups of boys that your friend likes, and then if you go over and talk to them, they'll say they actually swear a lot too, so they're gonna swear about that, and then they're gonna create a rumor about you trying to cheat over their boyfriends.
Okay.
And then, next time you'll become an outcast. So.
Okay, that sounds like bullying, doesn't it? But they will spread lies about you, tell you fake news. So they would perhaps say that you did something that you never did, something bad that you never did. Yeah, that would be fake news. But where you often find fake news, Gorgyang, is in social media. What do we mean when we talk about social media?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
That's right, yes. Now, who controls these media? Is it big corporations or is it ordinary people like you and me?
Individuals.
That's right. So anybody who's got some particular idea in his or her head that they want to promote or put out into the world, they can say anything they like. That is the danger of social media. If you were to read the New York Times, if you wanted to learn about the coronavirus, would you read the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, or would you go to Twitter? Where would you find a more accurate account of what is actually happening in the world?
On the newspapers?
Probably in the newspapers, yes, but not any newspaper. Some of the reputable newspapers, the older newspapers that have a reputation for accuracy, for accurate reporting. What do I mean when I talk about accurate reporting?
So, for example, CNN, they actually invite specialists on that specific subjects. For example, Dr. Fauci.
Yes.
And then they have an interview with them about, like, how is this virus going, when we'll be able to attend school. So it's more trustable.
It's more yes, it's more trustworthy. That's right. Yes. Whereas ordinary folk, there's no telling why they're saying what they're saying. Eh? Good. All right. Well, let's move on then. So we've agreed that if you want to get to the facts, good, reputable newspapers are probably the best. All right. Can you think about particular kinds of fake news? What sorts of fake news can you think about?
Well, so I was watching, I love watching like CNN and like Korean news, so I watch it every day.
Oh,
And
very
then what I
good.
realized is that some news programs, even if you're not really for sure, they just report it because they think they can earn popularities by that.
Yes.
So for example, there was a situation in America where a murderer got arrested and he stayed in the prison for 19 years, but then they figured out he wasn't the real murderer. So yeah.
I've heard of things like that. Yes, I have heard of things like that. When it comes to politics, 정치, there's a lot of fake news. So they may say that the president, for example, has done this or has done that, but they are enemies of the president, so they tell lies about him, okay, or her. And what about show business, actors? Do you sometimes see gossip about actors? That so-and-so has a baby, and the father is actually this person or that person.
Or somebody's dating who, even though it's not true.
That's right, yes, exactly. So it's often to do with politicians and film stars and things like that. Yes, fake news. All right, now how can you tell whether a story is fake news or not?
Well, you can't really tell because you weren't there when it actually happened, or you're not like a specialist.
Mm-hmm.
You actually have to use your common sense, basically.
Yeah. Can I tell you what I sometimes do? It doesn't always work, but when I sometimes get an email and it's a scam, it's not actually fake news, but it's also dishonest. Somebody wants my money and they don't want to work for it, they just want me to give it to them. So they send me a message. I had a WhatsApp message from a friend, I'm just checking it out now, Gorgyang. Let me see if I can find it. Victor, and he sent me a message. Let's see, there we go. Okay, yes. So it said Pick and Pay, that's a supermarket in my country, is giving 1,500 Rand gift card to everyone to celebrate its 53rd anniversary. Click to get yours here. And then it gives you a website address, you can click on that. And if you click on that, then it asks you for your credit card information or your bank account and details, but it's not the supermarket. So what I did is I Googled it. I went to Google and I checked it out and I found the company, and the company is saying, please everybody pay no attention to this message. It's going around, it's not reliable, it's not true, so don't trust it. So you can do an internet search. Best to do an internet search. Also, sometimes you can see, if you look at it carefully, the words are not, there may be some grammar mistakes of grammar. And if it's a very big corporation like a bank or a CNN or something like that, then they would get their grammar right. They wouldn't speak English badly or write English badly. So check it out, make sure there are no mistakes in the grammar. But even then you can't be sure. So usually it's best to do a lot of research and be a critical reader or a critical listener. What is a critical listener? You don't want to be gullible. What is gullible? Don't be gullible. Do you want to look it up in your dictionary? Gullible? 잘 속아 넘어가는, 남을 잘 믿는. You type that down, that's gullible. Gullible. Can you explain it in English?
You trust people or facts too easily. Too easily,
yes, too easily. We don't want to be gullible, especially in the year 2020, because this time there are just so many criminals, 범죄자, so many criminals out there who want to deceive you, who want your money. You've got to be so careful that you don't believe what everyone says, even if it looks believable, even if it looks very believable. Sometimes you'll see a website and you think, oh, this is CNN. But if you look carefully, you see it's not CNN. The address is slightly different. Okay. And if you go into the internet, you can check, there's a little padlock. It has, I'll show you what it looks like. In the address bar, you have a little thing like this. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen something like that? In the address bar, when you're typing in the internet. If you don't have this, you must be very careful if it's not in the address bar, because this shows you that the website is safe. But if it doesn't have that safe website, then you must be very careful. And you want to go to HTTPS, I think that's the one. These websites, HTTPS. Be careful, be very careful who you trust. Okay. What is the purpose of misinformation? What is its purpose?
To be offensive towards someone or like an individual. If, for example, if they're too popular and you're jealous, you try to spread rumors that would lower their popularity.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe you have a lot of hate for a particular race, 민족. So you say that these people are planning together to kill us, or they're planning to do this or to do that terrible thing, or they're stealing our money, or they spread disease, sickness, they spread disease. It may all be false news, fake news, but you have a reason for doing it. It could be hate, or it could be greed, but it's never a good thing. It's always a bad thing, always a bad reason. Yes. Okay. Is fake news used in election campaigns? Election campaigns. What is an election campaign?
It's like the people from the government goes like they actually asked you for your vote and they try to advertise themselves.
Do they always say nice things about their opponents? Did Mr. Trump say nice things about Hillary Clinton?
No.
Did Hillary Clinton say nice things about Mr. Trump?
No.
No, they don't. They want us to believe the worst possible things about their enemies. Yeah, even if it's not entirely true, that's what they want us to believe. Yeah. So sometimes in election campaigns, there's a lot of fake news. And it's so hard these days to know what to believe. And as a result, people are just so reluctant to believe anything. For example, people said that President Trump was actually, he was in with the Russians, with Russia, and Russia was paying for his presidential campaign, and Russia was helping him to become president of the United States, which is a terrible thing if it were true. But how do we know? It's so hard to know. How will we ever find out? You know, this is the problem these days because fake news is so successful. Right. Have any countries recently been accused of spreading fake news? Countries.
Yes.
Tell me of one.
China.
Okay, explain.
Wait. No, actually North Korea.
North Korea, tell me about it.
Because we actually send them a lot of money to fight that coronavirus.
Yeah.
And then what they did was ridiculous after they got the money.
What did they do?
We gave them money, right? But then they were saying South Korea spread the coronavirus.
How do you spread the coronavirus when there's no contact between South Korea and North Korea?
No, but no, like they were saying the origin of the coronavirus was not Wuhan, China. It was
it was in
Seoul,
South Korea. Oh,
yeah.
Everybody outside of North Korea knows that it was in Wuhan. So yes, that is fake news. So why would the North Korean government encourage fake news like that?
Because they hate everybody and then they think they're the best.
So they don't mind telling lies because they want their people to believe that everything possible bad about their enemies. It makes it easier to encourage people to hate the enemy of the country. Okay, good. And then finally, can you think of ways to prevent the circulation of fake news? How can we stop it?
So first, when you're actually investigating something, you have to prove it like straight, so nobody actually goes against you or try to create anything bad. And they should also have like programs that actually blocks all the scams.
It's difficult, but they must try. They should try. People like Twitter and Facebook, they should try to at least identify possible fake news, and then when they find it, is to investigate it properly. So you are thinking of possibly becoming a diplomat, and so you need to pay very careful attention to fake news. But you know, the most dangerous fake news is the fake news that seems believable. I mean, if it's crazy fake news and we just laugh at it, we think it's funny. But if it's believable and it's false, it's very dangerous. So as a diplomat, you don't ever want to be deceived by fake news. That would be dangerous. So maybe a skill you can learn, if that's what you're going to be, a diplomat, is how to identify fake news. And you can start by being a critical reader. In other words, when you read a newspaper, or a critical listener when you listen to the news, don't believe everything you hear. And ask yourself, is it possible? Is it likely? How does it compare with other things I know about this subject? Is it, you know, when you think, if someone says that the coronavirus started in South Korea and that's how it got to North Korea, if you are a North Korean, you might think to yourself, well, okay, how did it get across the border? Because the border is sealed, you know? How did it get in here? So you could ask yourself questions like that, and but you must always be skeptical. What is skeptical? Skeptical of newspapers, magazines, television news, radio, and especially of social media. Why should you be skeptical?
Because there are so much fake news and people pay attention to them and they're getting the wrong information. That's
right, yes. And people are out there to deceive you. That is their intention. Not to inform you, not to help you, not to help you. They want to harm you. They want to harm your thinking, and they want you, either they want what you've got, or they want you on their side for selfish reasons, their own personal selfish reasons. So you've got to be very careful about what you believe. So that's fake news, and I will see you again. I'm still in lockdown. I cannot leave my house. I cannot leave my house. Yes, until the end of this month. It's 5 weeks. 5 weeks, and then I think the government will extend it even further. Did you hear that there are over 20,000 people have died in the United States from coronavirus? Over 20,000. Isn't that terrible? All right, so I will see you again on Wednesday, Gorgyang. Is that all right? Okay, take care, and thank you for the nice lesson.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, take care.